Welcome, live from lockdown number 35. It's Kevin, it's Friday. It must be. Thank you very much for joining me. My almost weekly live stream from my somewhat nomadic lockdown studio. Really nice to have you with me. So I usually begin these shows with what we call a land acknowledgement, where a long-standing tradition amongst the First Nations of North America, where whenever they gather, they begin by offering respect to the people who own and look after the land. They don't really own the land. They look after the land and care for the land. And it's a tradition that I love and I love to uphold. I'm not in North America anymore. And so the history of the land's a little different. I find myself tonight in the village of Leith at the north end of the city of Edinburgh in Scotland. I am so lucky to be here. A city with a rich, amazing rich history of Celts and Romans and many others. And I'd like, therefore, to begin not with a First Nations land acknowledgement, but by thanking the people who have gone before me on this land and remembering them over many centuries. And while I'm doing such things, maybe acknowledge a couple of things about today. It's the last day of Hanukkah today. I guess it's, at least where I am, it's dark, so Hanukkah is over. But I want to wish the best to all of you who have been marking that very special Hebrew Festival of Light. What a marvelous time of year. It's also, today, December the 18th, is International Migrants Day. And I would ask you to join me in remembering the millions of people around the world who have been forced to leave their homes because of war and persecution and famine and climate change and a host of other reasons, all of which have only been exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. And to note that those people are likely the ones, wherever you are, wherever they are, who are carrying the heaviest burdens of the pandemic, doing the most dangerous and low-paid jobs, while often being denied and excluded from healthcare programs and income support programs. So an important thing to remember at what's hopefully mostly a happy time of year. Those people are also probably last in line for the vaccines, frankly. So lots of reasons to remember the migrants today. A few things to consider on the 18th of December. And in the realm of honoring the land and the hospitality of the people who have gone before us, I want to thank the McDonald Mulvihill family, the new hosts of my Live from Lockdown studio. I've been very well looked after. I'm in lockdown. I'm in quarantine here because I haven't been here very long, having done some international traveling, and really an honor to be here. And finally, to give another shout out to the most recent hosts of my lockdown studio, Robin and Rebecca at Ratspace Rehearsal and Recording in Toronto, who are great hosts, and I know we're carrying on that tradition, and in fact sponsored another live stream from that studio just last night. So what a treat that's continuing. So there you go, a big opening. I should have a look, see how we're doing here. Oh, hello friends. Oh, look at that. Lots of friends checking in. Thank you very much for joining me. Nice to have you. Oh, yeah. Keith tells me he's only getting the left signal. So, how always happens. I plan to spend my Friday getting ready for my show, and I'm having some technical trouble. And if you're only getting one side, if you're listening on stereo, I'm really sorry. I spent about 2 hours trying to solve that problem instead of practicing the music. So you will notice an audio problem and less than well-practiced music as a result of all of that. Real sorry, not much I can do. Maybe you can switch your setup to mono and get my left channel. And I will do my best to have that sorted out for next time I'm live from lockdown. Off the top, that was a tune called I Thought About You, which I'm doing as a kind of double duty request. I played it a few months ago for Sam Broverman, one of my regular requesters and a good friend. But it was also Pat Kelly, someone else I've spoken of often, a good friend and sometimes guitar student from Ottawa. A big hello to Pat and to Melanie, who have been big help to me recently. Pat reminded me that I Thought About You was one of his favorite tunes. So a little shout out to Pat. Although if you were playing along, Pat, I think that's usually in F or possibly B flat. I was doing that in D flat major, that being Sam's key. So Sam, I hope you could sing along. It's got 5 flats, not a friendly guitar key. But anyway, there you go. Thanks. Speaking of Sam Broverman, as I say, one of my regular requesters, he sent me a suggestion for this week, which was a beautiful tune by Sammy Kahn and Jules Stein that I'm going to take a run at now. I never played it before. I never actually had taken the time to learn it until just this week. This is called It's been a long, long time, and I'm going to read that. Thank you, Sam. Keep the requests coming in. Hope you like this one. I'm in the key of F this time, a little friendlier on the guitar. It's been a long, long time. I wish I could say it's been a long time since I played that tune, but not so long. Anyway, thanks again for listening to that. Thanks again for tuning in. Looks like lots of friends and different people getting the left channel or not. Anyway, I will work on the audio. I will say, as I always do, that I'm very happy to have you tune in, and I hope you enjoy the music. If you have an income, if you are able to support live music online, the people like me really, really appreciate that. And if you're able to make a donation to support this, small, large, or in between, please check the notes on the side of the page. There's links to my PayPal account and my Ko-Fi account. If you're in Canada, you can send me an e-transfer directly. Really, really appreciate that. And as I always say again, if you've been supporting me like many people have and you want to spend your money and support another live musician this week, that's just fine with me too. All of us appreciate it. It's a tough business to be in these days, as I'm sure you know. And if you don't have an income or you're not able to make a donation, please stick around and enjoy the art. That's really what it's about. I will say, speaking of coming back, that in my last show a couple of weeks ago, I asked for suggestions about what to do about the following 2 Fridays, which in many parts of the world are auspicious dates, the 25th of December and the 1st of January. And I got lots of encouragement to take a couple of weeks off, and a few people who said it'd be fun to have a show. You know, I took last week off, and I think that if I take the next 2 weeks off, I will miss you all too much. So I'm not really going to take the next 2 weeks off. I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do. But watch Facebook or check your YouTube channel if you're watching that way. I'm hoping to do at least a short show on one or both of those days. They might be a little shorter. They might be a little more relaxed. There might be a few more repeats. Who knows? There might even be some surprises. So please check it out. I have to say I'm feeling a little out of sorts being in a new space and having all this technical trouble, and I hope it's working out okay. Again, nice to see lots of friends there. I will confess to you, although it's the time of the year, and although you can't, even if you're not going out, even if you just listen to the radio, there's a lot of pretty standard Christmas songs that are getting an awful lot of play. And my confession is that Christmas music is not really one of my favorite things. And lots of singers who have worked with me will know that. However, there are a few I've dug out, a few gems and a few tunes that are kind of fun to play, or that I wanted to work up. And here's one of them, which is one of my favorite things. It's a tune called "My Favorite Things," written by Rodgers and Hammerstein for The Sound of Music, which I believe premiered in 1959 on stage. Went on to become, of course, a fabulous and very well-known film that we've all seen lots of times. John Coltrane recorded this tune and introduced it to the jazz canon. And I don't know. I'm not going to play like John Coltrane, but we'll see what we do. My Favorite Things. Hope you like it. favorite things. There you go. Thank you. Man, that's a confusing tune. It's keeping on track of when it's in the minor key and when it's in the major key. I missed that a couple of times. I'm sure you noticed. Sorry about that. Couple of birthday wishes. I have to confess I wasn't able to garner any specific birthday requests, but a couple of, well, one person who might be listening and two people that I know aren't, who are birthdays that I note this week. My good friend Gloria Blizzard, of whom I have mentioned. You might have occasionally seen me play a beautiful handmade classical guitar on this show that I purchased from Gloria. She didn't make it. A great guitar maker in Canada by the name of Oscar Graff made it. Anyway, Gloria's birthday's tomorrow, and Gloria and I had a nice chat on Zoom yesterday about another fabulous singer by the name of Sharon McLeod. We had a fun chat. So I want to wish a happy birthday to Gloria. Two other birthdays of longtime friends who are no longer with us this week. Yesterday was the birthday of my, well, I want to say my good friend. She would be if she was here, Nancy McDougall, the little sister of a good friend, Bruce McDougall, that I've mentioned. We lost Nancy to cancer 10 years ago, and would have been, I think, her 54th birthday or something in that zone this week. So, yeah, really missing her. And Arlene Mantle, a troubadour of the labor movement, a woman who had more intuitive understanding of how to use music as a tool to organize for progressive social change more than anyone I've ever met. Somebody I learned a whole bunch from and worked with for the last 15 years of her life. Arlene died a number of years ago, but her birthday would have been Monday. So a few happy birthday wishes to those people, living and not. If you got a birthday this week and I missed it, I apologize, but happy birthday to you too. And another seasonal request. A request for not sure it's, yeah, I guess it is a Christmas song. Mostly a winter song, but a Christmas song. Mary Beth Graham, another good friend and a fantastic fan of live music. Mary Beth is one of the people who hired me to play live, and one of the very few live gigs in front of people that I've had since March when this damn pandemic hit. And she sent me a message this week to tell me that she liked this tune. She said, it's probably too late, but I'll just put this in the mix. And it was going to be too late, and then I thought about it, and I decided to give it a shot. It's a beautiful hymn. The music was written by Gustav Holst, and a lot of people have recorded this in the bleak midwinter. A lot of people have recorded this, from lots of great choirs to lots of folk singers. There's even a James Taylor recording I dug up this week, and I spent a bit of time trying to figure out how to bring my own approach to it, do it something maybe unusual for me at least. And I came across a version straight out of a hymn book, a beautiful, just very standard soprano, alto, tenor, bass arrangement. And I'm going to try to replicate that for you. So this isn't my big loop out extravaganza that you'll get at the end, but it is going to take a while. I'm going to play this from the bass part up to the soprano and then play on it a little bit. And I hope you like it. So Mary Beth, for you and for everyone who loves this beautiful tune, In the Bleak Midwinter. bleak midwinter. There you go. Thanks, Mary Beth, for the request, and keep those requests coming in. As I keep saying, it doesn't look like we're going to get out of this pandemic too soon, so I'm going to keep being locked down on Fridays and playing music for you. So happy for the suggestions all the time. Reminder that I'm also, as well as doing this, performing live, I'm teaching online and I'm doing lots of recording. So if you got a record you're working on that needs some guitar tracks, or you want to learn something about putting chords and melodies together on this instrument, please hit me up. I'm pretty easy to find. My contact information is along the bottom of the screen there. I'm in the UK at the moment, so the UK number is the one to use. So the email address is always good. You can hit me up with a Facebook message. I'll get back to you. You also, if you want to check the links on the side of the page, as well as learning how you can make a donation to this show, you can also find links to Bandcamp where you can buy some of my recordings, and I'd be much appreciative if you haven't already availed yourself of that opportunity to buy a record digitally, or I can even send you a CD. Some of my recordings. So thanks for all your support. I got a lot of people out there who have been super supportive to me, and I really appreciate it. All right, so here's a story. As I say, I've just arrived in Edinburgh, and I brought what I could with me, but I was not able to bring my electric mandolin. And I was kind of sad about that, because I've really been enjoying playing the mandolin. One of my pandemic projects has been trying to work on that instrument. And I actually took to messaging a few of my good friends who watch the show who are particular mandolin fans. Dave Lipsy, I think I saw you there. Louise Bevan, I don't know if you're listening tonight. Stuart out on the West Coast, who doesn't listen on Facebook but often catches me on YouTube later on. I warned you all that I was not going to be able to play mandolin, and I wasn't sure when I was going to be able to. Well, that's what I thought. And then I got here and I got in touch with my very good friend Chris Grieve, who is a wonderful musician, a very good friend, a really great musician and producer, does a lot of great work here in Edinburgh. He's from Australia originally. He's been a guy who's helped me out many times on many trips here with gear and music and jumping in to play trombone on some shows. And he came by to drop something off, and I said hello at the window, and he said, "Is there anything you need?" And I said, kind of half jokingly, "Well, I need a mandolin." Well, don't you know that 36 hours later, he showed up at the door with not one, but two mandolins. Started asking around, and they started coming out of the woodwork. So I just got a hold of this acoustic mandolin just last night. I'm still getting used to it. It needs some new strings, needs a bit of work, but surprise, surprise, I was able to dig up a mandolin, and what a treat to try to keep working on this. As I say, it's acoustic. It's got no pickups, so no loops or any fancy stuff like that. But I want to say big thanks to Chris for digging this up, and also to Martin Green and his partner Inga, who are the owners of this. I haven't actually met them, but they had an extra mandolin around the house. They and the kids all had their own mandolins, so they had an extra one, and I'm really deeply indebted for the loan of this and the chance to play that. And extra fun that was when I opened the case. Underneath the mandolin in the case, there was a bunch of mandolin music, a bunch of little pamphlets and charts, I think perhaps from a music camp, with some fairly simple mandolin tunes. And what a great chance to learn a new tune. So I had to look through, and in fact, the first piece of music I picked up was a traditional Scottish tune. I'm not going to pronounce this correctly. All you Scottish friends can laugh at me. Wha Wan Effect for Charlie. Who Wouldn't Fight for Charlie is the name of the tune. And of course, it's an old Jacobian song dedicated to the illustrious Bonnie Prince Charlie. Who wouldn't fight for Bonnie Prince Charlie? Yeah, he tried to revolt against the English monarchy. In fact, he did, and some say he might have actually been successful had he not chickened out and got confused along the way. So I'm going to take a run at this. As I say, I spent a lot of today fighting with the technology instead of practicing my mandolin, but we'll see how it goes. Louise, if you're listening and playing along, I'm in the key of D major. Hope you like this one. I'll put some new strings on this and practice that a bit and see if I can come back with some more mandolin for you next time. But, well, what an effect for Charlie. Thank you. Thanks to Chris and Martin and Inga for digging me up a mandolin. There's a lot of mandolins around this town. I was hoping I'd get one. I certainly didn't expect to get it so quickly. So thanks for that. And as always, for your patience with my attempts to play that crazy instrument. Too many strings too close together, too many frets too close together. I'll go back to the guitar that I know a little better. I should also say that my nylon string guitar is in the shop, and I'm really missing it. So I've only got, I'd love to play with the electric guitar, but really the nylon string's my main instrument, and I'm missing that. So, again, hopefully that will change shortly. This will be something completely different. Well, hopefully it will be in tune, first of all. Ooh. Back to the electric guitar. Back to the 1970s. I had a message with my sister Bronwyn, who lives on the west coast of Canada, who's a big fan of the tunes from the 70s and 80s and is always sending requests. This is not one that she requested, and possibly not one that would be on her radar, but nonetheless from that era. This is a request that came to me by way of my very good friend Keith McNair, who, again, I've often spoken of on this show. I played a composition of Keith's a couple of weeks ago, and he sent me a delightful message with a recording for this tune just earlier this week, in fact. He said, here's something you might have fun with, looping and vocal, unless the irony of it is too much to bear. Keith is a man with a great appreciation for irony. I learned a lot from him about that and the use of irony in theater and music and things. So, and I have to confess, Keith, I wasn't able to work out the loops. I'm just going to play the tune. It's a tune by Joe Walsh, who's a famous American musician and quite renowned guitar player. And I used to not really get what people liked about his guitar playing. I didn't think he was also great when I was younger and impressed by the flash of fast-moving guitar players. But I realized Joe Walsh is a master of what you might call riff rock, just really great solid guitar riffs, and this tune is full of those. He's also a very good slide player, and had I had more time, I might have tried to work out a few of those layers, but instead I will do my best to deliver a few of them, and this crazy tune called Life's Been Good. It's not a Christmas tune at all, although it is a tune, as Keith says, dripping with irony at the excesses of a rock and roll lifestyle, and in a season which is often overrun with excess. Maybe a cautionary tale. Life's been good. Have a mansion, forget the price. Ain't never been there, they tell me it's nice. I live in hotels, tear out the walls. I have accountants, pay for it all. They say I'm crazy, but I have a good time. I'm just looking for clues at the scene of the crime. Life's been good to me so far. Maserati does 185. I lost my license, now I don't drive. I have a limo right in the back. I lock the doors in case I'm attacked. I make hit records, my fans, they can't wait. They write me letters, tell me I'm great. Got me an office, gold records on the wall. Just leave a message, maybe I'll call. Lucky I'm sane after all I've been through. I can't complain. complain, but sometimes I still do. Life's been good to me so far. Go to parties sometimes until 4. It's hard to leave when you can't find the door. It's tough to handle this fortune and fame. Everybody's so different, I haven't changed. They say I'm lazy, but it takes all my time. Keep on going, guess I'll never know why. Life's been good to me so far. Life's been good to me so far. There you go. Life's been good. Thanks, Joe Walsh. Thanks to Keith for requesting that one. Oh, that's fun. Except I should know more than to try to learn a whole bunch of new tunes every week before I do this show, although I seem to keep doing it. Everybody still there? People still there listening? This seems to be all right. Thank you very much. A little message of love, as I often do, and one more tune before I go. First of all, please wear a mask. Please don't be an idiot. I wore my mask again. I'm all alone in the room. I'm in quarantine, so I wear a mask to make a point, not while I'm going to sing and play. That's the first thing. You know, if you love your family and you love your friends, stay away from them this season. Keep your mask on and reduce the contact, and let's see if we can beat this pandemic. Of course, that's what I want to say every week. A special message for this week. I want to wish you all the very best of the season. Most importantly, a very happy solstice. As I like to say, the solstice, the winter solstice, is the reason for the season. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. This Monday, December 21st, is the longest night of the year. And after that, the light will begin to return. So let's try to remember that. It's been a notoriously challenging year for all of us. It's been a tough year for me. It's been a tough year for a lot of people. And many places in the world have not even seen the worst of the pandemic. But it will pass. And we will be able to gather again, and the light will come back. So, as I say, if you love your friends and your family, keep your distance, keep the celebrations small, but remember that the light's going to come back and life is going to come back. And I wish after the solstice and into 2021, a better year ahead for all of you, or perhaps all of you except Jeff Bezos. But really, let's try to make 2021 a better year, eh? Thanks. Thanks again for joining me. Thanks for joining me from my new lockdown studio. I do expect to see you for at least a brief show on Christmas Day, the 25th, next Friday, and I hope you have a great season. I'm going to end with one more tune, which is often associated with Christmas. Not an old one, but a relatively new one. A tune that comes from the great Joni Mitchell from her fabulous album Blue. And here's a tune that makes lots of Christmas references, and it's called The River. Thanks for listening. Thank you very much for joining me. Happy solstice to all of you. Have a great season. I love you. I miss you. And I will see you soon. Thank you.